Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Imperium of Man, as we speculate what the Emperor of Mankind would have to do upon his return to the Imperium of Man. So internally, what obstacles are presented to the Emperor that he would have to deal with before he even thinks about Xenos or any other topics? If you're new to the channel, subscribe because we post Warhammer 40K content every single day. And if you have any topic ideas that you guys would like us to create a video about, please comment down below. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on what the Emperor of Mankind would have to do upon his return. The Emperor of Mankind is the immortal perpetual who serves as the ruling monarch of the Imperium of Man. He has sat immobile, his body slowly crumbling, within the golden throne of Terra for over 10,000 standard years. Should the Emperor ever rise from the golden throne, the galaxy would see a dramatic change to the Imperium of Man, for his true vision of the Imperium has laid unfulfilled, and his return would mark the rebirth of a new, galaxy-spanning interstellar human empire. As he is today, the Emperor is dying. His shattered, decaying body can no longer support life, and it is kept intact only by the cybernetic mechanisms of the Golden Throne. The Golden Throne is a massive, cybernetic life support mechanism, utilizing ancient, advanced biomechanical technology that possesses the ability to amplify psychic abilities. But the Golden Throne is much more than a life support system. It is the modified remains of a webway portal, the same webway portal that was attacked by the denizens of the warp during the Horus Heresy. If the Emperor would ever set foot outside his throne room, a flood of chaos demons would pour forth from the unguarded Golden Throne and consume the very heart of the Imperium. Trillions would die as wave after wave of warp entities would battle the forces of the Imperium. The Imperial forces on Terra could put up a strong defense against chaos, but it would turn Terra into a desolate war zone. If the Emperor does return, he would have to find a way to completely seal off this portal. Sealing it would be the only option for the Emperor, because as we know, only the Emperor has the psychic strength to manipulate the Golden Throne. Not even Malkador the Hero, arguably the second most potent psyker that has ever lived, could support the Golden Throne without quickly succumbing to its psychic might. No reliable psyker alive today can take the Emperor's place. Sealing the Golden Throne would be the first of many obstacles that the God Emperor would have to face upon his return. The next obstacle would be the Astronomicon. The Astronomicon is a psychic beacon located on Terra, which projects an astropathic beam 70,000 light-years across the Milky Way galaxy, which human navigators utilize to pilot the starships of the Imperium of Man through the otherwise horrible chaos of warp space. Without it, the Imperium would be cut off from each other, and planets would quickly begin to crumble into darkness. Before its existence, planets closest to Terra could be easily reached by blind jumps through the Immaterium. But with the strengthening of the ruinous powers of chaos, this can no longer be done. The Emperor would have to give up part of his psychic power to fuel the Astronomicon, much like he did during the Great Crusade. But as we know, this is not the most ideal method of keeping the Imperium connected. To do this, the Emperor would either have to reopen his Webway project, or turn to the forgotten technology of the Dark Age of technology. The establishment of a webway controlled by man is a topic that requires a video all on its own, because it would involve the Eldar race, the Black Library, and ancient technology of the Dark Age. But it would be a necessary obstacle that the Emperor would have to solve, if he would return. Once the Emperor solidifies his control over his throne room, he would have to confront the horrible realities of what the Imperium has become. The first internal obstacle he faces is the Imperial Cult. The Imperial Cult is the official and only state religion of the Imperium of Man. It has been spread throughout the Imperium to every man, woman, and child. It is the tool used by the ecclesiarchy to unify the Imperium, but most importantly, it is used to keep people in line. The Emperor has always been an opponent of religion. He understood that all religion fuels the ruinous powers of chaos, and the Imperial Cult is no different. He saw the destruction of the last temple on Terra, and he will not rest until he sees the destruction of the last temple in the Imperium. During the Great Crusade, the Primarch Lorgar of the Wordbearers Legion spread the book of the Lectitio Divinatus, which laid out a compelling case for why the Emperor of mankind was more than a man, but a god made flesh. The Emperor disapproved of this notion, so much that he punished his son Lorgar by ordering a task force composed of an entire Ultramarines legion and accompanied by forces of his elite personal bodyguards, the Legio Custodes, and the Imperial Regent, Malcador the Sigillite, to raise the capital city on the planet Kur, a world dear to the Word-bearers. Despite his protest to the contrary, the effects of trillions of human beings expressing a deep faith in his divinity has massively empowered the Emperor's mind and soul within the psychically reactive Imperium, where reality is shaped by the collective beliefs and unconscious desires of the galaxy's most populous intelligent species. But once the Emperor returns to real space, he no longer needs this fuel source. Destroying the Imperial Cult would require the Emperor to find a substitute force that unifies his Imperium, and that unifying force is the Imperial Truth, a secular, rational ideology that would replace and improve the daily lives of every Imperial citizen. Along with the malicious beliefs in the Imperial Cult, the Emperor of mankind would have to attack the Cult Mechanicus. The Cult Mechanicus, also known in ancient times before the Horus Heresy as the Cult Mechanicum, is a set of religious beliefs that serve as the philosophical foundation of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The Cult Mechanicus teaches its followers to worship a being called the Omnissiah, and it believes that everything mechanical has a machine spirit, a belief that the Emperor knows is preventing mankind from fully understanding technology. The Emperor tolerated the Cult Mechanicus on Mars, and in return the Adeptus Mechanicus would produce the war machines needed for the Great Crusade. This agreement became known as the Treaty of Olympus Mons, but this treaty had another agreement. The Adeptus Mechanicus was not allowed to build or create anything related to the Men of Iron or the Dark Mechanicum. This treaty was broken when the Fabricator General allied with Horus and opened the vaults of forbidden knowledge. This, along with the multitude of Forge Worlds loyal to the Emperor today, is why the Emperor has the right and power to destroy the Cult Mechanicus and bring the Adeptus Mechanicus on Mars into the Imperial Truth. The destruction of the Cult Mechanicus would lead to the return of innovation within the Imperium of Man. This innovation of technology would produce better living conditions for Imperial citizens. The improved living conditions would prove to Imperial citizens that the Imperial Creed was nothing more than a sham. The Imperial Truth, on the other hand, would rally the citizens of the Imperium along with the Adeptus Mechanicus. Now both the destruction of the Imperial Creed and the Cult Mechanicus would breed civil war within the Imperium of Man, but they're necessary obstacles for the Emperor of mankind to regain control of the Imperium and spread humanity throughout the galaxy. And those were 40 facts as to what the Emperor of mankind would have to do upon his return internally within the Imperium. Now, if you guys like this video, please share this with your friends on Facebook, Twitter. If you have an Imperium of Man player, which is pretty much everybody that plays Warhammer 40K, because let's be honest, we all start off with Space Marines. But anyways, if you have an Imperium of Man player, share this with them and show them that if the Emperor were to return, he has a civil war to fight. a pretty big civil war too. Now, if you notice, we didn't talk anything about the Space Marines, and that is because I'm going to create a separate video specifically on what the Emperor would do upon his return to the Space Marines. Same thing goes with Xenos. So I'm going to create a video explaining what the Emperor of Mankind would do upon his return to the outside threat, not the internal threat. We're also going to talk about the Inquisition, because the Inquisition would be a very vital part in the Space Marines. If you guys disagree with my stance on the Emperor actually fighting the Imperial Creed, actually fighting the Cult Mechanicus, I understand. They're pretty controversial topics within our Warhammer 40K lore universe, but they're things that I really see no way around. You could keep fighting like Gilliman is doing with his new crusade, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have the Imperial Creed that fuels chaos and allows them to fight you. The whole reason that chaos is empowered is because of this whole Imperial Creed building up their forces. So again, if you guys want to give me better options as to how to deal with the Imperial Creed and the Cult Mechanicus, please comment down below. If you guys can think of any other topics within the internal workings of the Imperium of Man that the Emperor would have to undergo if he ever came back, please comment down below. I might do a part 2 explaining your guys' feedback and what I think about it, and then just add or create a whole nother list of things that the Emperor would have to do if he ever came back. But again, guys, if you like these videos, share this with your friends. If you want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos, and more importantly, creates giveaways for you guys that are going to be coming very soon. If you can't support us on Patreon, completely understand. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps out the channel. With that said, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and I can't wait to read your comments. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.